everybody. And now let's talk automation.
Hello, hello. Happy Third Thursday, everybody. My name is Emma Roloff. I'm one of the two hosts of the show for you today, and we are going to be talking about how to use technology and specifically AI to really recession-proof manufacturing space and why pulling away from technology investments is probably not the right choice as we head into maybe a bit of a tough economic climate. Last but not least, Manny, can you say hello to everybody and give a quick intro?
Hello, everyone. Emma, Karen, thank you very much for having me on the show. I think the last Thursday of 2022. So it's got to be a good show. Hi, everyone out there in the audience. My name is Manny Bernabe. I am an independent consultant. I work with small manufacturers based in the US, and I help them increase productivity, boost sales, and increase competitive advantage in the marketplace using data and analytics. To my role as an independent consultant, I was at an AI IoT startup where I helped to build out an AI team and did a lot of fun stuff across many different types of industries. So excited to be here and excited to jump into this very important topic.
Well, great. Thank you both for joining us. And as always the case, we love it when folks who are joining us live come into the comments, tell us who you are and where you're joining from. And of course, any questions or anything that you guys have as we go through the discussion, we'll do what we can to address those comments live, but then also it gives us an opportunity to keep the conversation going after our pretty short half an hour together. So Manny, I want to get started by coming to you and talking a little bit about the idea of lean AI and lean analytics, because we've all in the manufacturing space heard the term lean used in all different types of capacities, but I want to bring it in and apply it to AI and analytics. So can you start by sharing like a little bit about what that idea is and why it's something people should have on their radar?
Absolutely. Yes. So firstly, I think a little bit of context here. As we head into a downturn, maybe counterintuitively, but manufacturers need to be doubling down on analytics. What is analytics going to help you to do? They're going to help you be more efficient, more effective. They're going to help you get rid of waste. They're going to help you think about what the true customer demand is and how you're going to meet that demand, maintain your market share, and stay competitive. Analytics is going to help you do all of that work well. So analytics is definitely going to be something that you're going to want to invest in as we're moving into a downturn. Now, there are some challenges in doing that. Typically, I see the lack of in-house expertise. There are data silos. There's a lack of visibility on the ROI. It's hard to coordinate different groups within a manufacturer's organization to all move in the same direction. So there's some major challenges. But I think that in manufacturing, you have a good framework in lean manufacturing that we can look at and take those principles and apply them to the world of analytics and AI. So what are those? So when we look at those principles, there are 5, but there are a couple that I want to call out. The number one principle in lean manufacturing is to identify value. It's to start with value. And I can't tell you how important that is when it comes to thinking about analytics, AI, and machine learning. Oftentimes what I'm seeing folks come to me and they say, hey, Manny, I have this great model. Here's the data. Here's how it's scoring. Here's a precision. Here's a recall. Make this better. And my question is, well, okay, yeah, the score looks great on this model, but where's the economic impact for this? Where's the value? What's the customer that we're making value? What problem are we solving for that customer? And I get blank stares sent back to me. And so that tells me that folks that are working on analytics, manufacturing projects don't spend enough time on that core principle of lean manufacturing within analytics, which is identifying the value upfront and early before you get into the technology, before you get into the data. And that's so important because there's so much you can measure on a manufacturing floor. There's so much data. There are a lot of models out there. There are a lot of great technologies to use within the AI and machine learning world. You don't know which one of those data sets, those models, those technologies are going to be helpful. There are too many. You don't know which one you're going to go with or which one you should go with unless you start with that key step of identifying value upfront and having everything else orient around that particular objective and those set of criteria that you're setting up for your team. So I won't go through all the 5 principles of lean manufacturing. We talk more about that, but I gotta say that's the number one thing that as you're looking to launch an analytics project, and if you're looking to leverage the lean manufacturing philosophy, identifying value from the customer's perspective, from the user's perspective, that's got to be number one on your agenda as you're launching a new analytics project.
I like that you call it an empire. I think that there are some people that really truly look at like, I am building this thing that will be my legacy forever. But that mindset can be really dangerous when we look at innovation and how quickly things are changing. And the idea that digital transformation isn't like a one time thing, it's a continuing evolution. And that's a mindset shift, I think, for a lot of IT departments kind of across all industries. Manny, I want to come to you now and kind of look at this idea of shiny object syndrome, which I'm sure all of us in the audience and here on the live stream are acutely aware of when we're talking about emerging technologies. But especially when we're trying to kind of like fail fast and experiment and be innovative, how do we keep those business outcomes that Kieran just mentioned at the forefront of everything that we're doing and avoid chasing shiny objects?
So first of all, I gotta say that every technologist is going to be susceptible to chasing the shiny object. And part of the reason why we got into this role is because we love technology. We love the new thing. We love being the early adopter of technology. And so you're always going to have a bias as a technologist, and my clients as well. Many of my clients are innovation leaders within organizations, or they're leading innovation throughout the organization. And it's their job to look at the latest tech and to play around with it and to do cool things with it. Now, I think the way that you hedge that is that you go back to principle number one of lean manufacturing, which I think should be applied to lean analytics too, which is starting with the value that you're driving for the customer. That's got to be the number one question that you're asking yourself as you're evaluating all technology. The second principle in lean manufacturing is mapping out a flow of value, working back from that customer value all the way to the source data and the manufacturing floor. And there are usually, it's just a couple lanes and there are different types of nodes. But at the end of the day, you should be able to appreciate why when you do this one thing on this machine, how it downstreams all the way down to creating more value for your customer. So as you're looking at all the different technologies that you can apply, all the different new things and features that the vendors are pushing your way, I think the right way to approach it is to always say like, okay, if I put myself in the shoes of Bill, and Bill is managing a fleet of vehicles out on the East Coast, and is this technology, if I were to implement, is this going to create more value for Bill? And how would I do that? How would I map that? How would I use this technology here, and how would it translate downstream to value for Bill? I think that's step number one is always put that lens of the value that's being created for the customer. I am going to be at CES next month, so the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. So if anybody's going to be there, ping me. Let's try to grab coffee. That would be great. But there's going to be a lot of wild technology there that I'm gonna like really want to play with and get excited about. And I gotta temper that a little bit and say like, okay, well, like which one of these technologies is really gonna create that great experience for Bill or Jane out in the field and doing their job. Like a lot of those folks, they got real problems to worry about. They got customers to make happy. They may not want VR. They may not want the latest AI machine learning model. So for me, it's always about coming back and saying what would drive the most value for my customer. And in order for me to do that, I have to be obsessed with that customer. This is something that I tell a lot of my clients, innovation managers, you really need to dig into this persona. Like, who are they? What are they doing? What's driving them? What are the pain points? And really immerse yourself in that persona so that you're always coming back and you can answer that question correctly in terms of what's going to drive the most value for that end customer.
Great, thank you. And this is going to be a big comment to put on here. I'm just going to show it up there. Ryan's talking about the idea, so go look at the whole comment, but it's going to be distracting to have on the screen. But it's this idea of shiny object syndrome at an executive level. And I wanted to bring this up specifically because it's shiny object syndrome and digital literacy, I think, kind of go hand in hand. So Manny, you made a great point that a lot of people that are in the technology space are predisposed to be excited about what's coming. But I think the other side of it is we're predisposed to be excited about what's coming, but we also have enough digital literacy to know where we want to ask additional questions, or where we might want to poke holes, or where that value might be coming from, to ask ourselves those questions of how is it going to help the people in the field, or what is that going to look like, or does it need to mature a little bit more before we bring it into our environment. So for anybody that feels like maybe the executive team is getting distracted by shiny objects because they hear the really great parts, I would certainly encourage you to help them recognize that maybe they need to build up that digital muscle a little bit more and that literacy to understand what questions to ask.
I'll add to that too. Great comments. I also say that I think what I've seen that as well, and I think that is a symptom of an organization that's reactive to innovation. So you have an executive team that feels behind. They read a really nice write-up in the Wall Street Journal and they send it downstream like, hey, why aren't we doing this? Well, it's because you haven't developed your own plan. You haven't thought about how technologies that are available are going to align with your overall strategic goals. You don't have a portfolio of projects set up. You don't have an innovation leader that's driving POCs every quarter, that's pushing POCs to production every quarter, that is mapping the value to things in production every quarter. You don't have that system in place. So you're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel like you're falling behind, and it's going to have this knee-jerk reaction. Let's do the next shiny thing in the Wall Street Journal. The problem is that that's not sustainable, that's always changing. In order for them to sell newspapers, they always have to have a new shiny object in there. So you're always going to be chasing the latest fad, and it's never going to build core innovation within your technology that's going to make you a competitive company. So great comment there. And I just wanted to add that.
No, that's a really, really good point, that we need to go back to that higher level vision, and also make sure that we have the foundations in place to be able to jump to those innovative technologies. Because if you don't have the right foundations, going back to your point, you're just going to constantly be trying to like chase after what's next.